Today, I'm going to be going over 7 mistakes you're making that is the reason why you keep dying, especially in ranked mode. Mistake number 1. Sounds like a really simple one, but trust me, so many people, especially a lot of my friends, make this silly mistake of not warming up. Now, I think we all know why we should warm up by now, so I'm not going to go too much in detail about this, but if you're not getting a proper warm up in your session, before your sessions, you're going to be missing shots, missing edits, and just overall won't be able to play at your full potential. Even when you do start to feel a little more warmed up, you're not going to be able to play at the absolute peak performance you can. And the only way we can truly hit this peak performance is by getting ourselves a proper warm-up. The longer your warm-up, the better you're going to perform when you come to game. Now, I recommend try and warm up for at least 30, if not 45 minutes. But if you're someone who just really doesn't want to warm up, you want to be at least warming up for 10 to 15 minutes when coming on the Fortnite. Just warm up some mechs, do some aim stuff, and just get yourself prepared before hopping straight in ranked, especially if you're looking to rank up. So mistake number 1 is not warming up. Now moving on to mistake number 2. Let's just kick it off with the off spawn. No, I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers that keep crying at you for landing Mega City, because I land there myself and love the spot. But what I am going to say is if you're actually taking ranked seriously and you want to rank up in your Fortnite ranked sessions, you need to stop dying off spawn. And I know this is easier said than done, so here is my recommendations for all of you to avoid dying off spawn. I'm not going to say land uncon, because that would just make your ranked session super boring, unless you want to land uncon, in which case go for it. I know I and so many of you wouldn't be able to stick to this. Instead, I'm going to give you one tip and want all of you to stick to this. And this tip is to pick one drop spot on the map. It could be Breakwater Bay, Mega City, or wherever you want to land, and only land there. Don't go off to Brutal Bastion if your spot is Breakwater Bay, because the bus is nowhere near. Or if you genuinely want to gain points, just pick one spot, stick with it. Don't go jumping from spot to spot based on the bus. Just have one solid drop spot and keep landing there. Create yourself a proper loot route, and even if you want to take it even more seriously, get yourself a drop map. Mistake number 3. We're now moving on to fighting, and this tip is using your pickaxe. Let me explain. So many players these days are approaching walls with their pickaxe, which is fine, but the only problem with this is you're actually making a mistake. When using your pickaxe, let's say there's a 90% chance of you being hit by the other guy, whether it's a pre-fire or him just hitting a nasty edit play. I'm sure we all know how that feels, but the chances are there isn't a 90% chance of you being hit when you're trying to pickaxe a wall. And you're probably thinking, why? And that's because we take safe angles. So let's assume we're now going up to our wall, we're hitting it, and we're taking ourselves a safe angle. So now there's like a 40% chance of being hit by the other guy. But you're probably wondering, how can we lower this even more? And this is where the mistake comes in for most of us. So many of us decide to use our pickaxe to take walls, and that is fine to a certain extent, but if you want to lower that chance from 40 to like, let's say 20%, you need to start using your SMG to take walls. This season, it is meta to always have an SMG in your inventory, unless you've got yourself a broken overclocked assault rifle from that floaty island thing, in which case, this will work even better. Now we are taking walls with our SMG. That has took our chances of being hit from like 40% to 20%, and here is why. When we take with our pickaxe, there's a short period of time where we do the animation of throwing our pickaxe back and swinging forwards. And during this animation, you cannot do anything but wait for it to finish. And this makes it easy for the opponent to make a play. And this is where so many people get hit for like 80, 90, and sometimes even 100 damage and can potentially throw their game. But the problem with using your pickaxe is you're giving them something called time. And the more time an opponent has, the more time they have to come up with a play to succeed. So when we take the wall with our SMG, we're putting them on the back foot massively. Not only does this destroy the wall like 10 times quicker than your pickaxe, but it also means if they go for an edit play on you, the SMG will just shred through the wall and hit them, so you can easily just take the wall back and profit from the extra damage you just did to him. I mean, especially with SMGs going through walls this season, you really need to start abusing that SMG if you want to take walls. I promise you, it will be your best friend and get you so many more extra kills. Mistake number 4, hitting one wall at a time. I'm not gonna lie, I have been guilty to this mistake so many times as well, but this is just trying to take one wall at a time. Like I said before, when you give your opponent time and space, it's easy for them to come up with a winning play. But when you start taking 2 or 3 walls and put them all one shot, it's near enough impossible for your opponent to know your next move, which means you could break one of the walls that are one shot, and this makes it very hard for them. With so many walls on 1 HP, it's very hard for them to really go for a play, but just sit there and hold the wall. So this gives you 2 opportunities usually, and this means the first one is you end up getting one of the walls and you can just easily start pressuring them with the SMG, getting cones in their boxes and looking to finish off the fight that way, and now you've got that piece control on him. Or he's going to turn around and try and edit out the back. Now, this is the biggest mistake someone can make, because as soon as they make this mistake, you go, hit one of the one-shot walls, hit him in the back as he's trying to run out the back, and get yourself a nice little 100 pump on him. You should 100% be doing this, especially if you're in duos. So many players sit in boxes together in duos for some reason, and I don't know why. So communicate with your duo to start taking different walls. You can start taking it from one side, your teammate can start taking walls from the other side, then make your job just to put walls onto 1 HP. And I guarantee you that your teammate will end up getting one of the walls, and as soon as they get that, they'll get a free shot and you'll start winning a lot more fights. Mistake number 5, stop taking stupid 50-50s if you want to rank up. Let me explain. Recently, I struggled because Epic Games decided they was going to remove Siphon, and so many of you are also struggling. Let me explain why Siphon was a big deal for me. I realised I used to take a lot of 50-50s in fights, and that meant I needed to learn to fight without taking any damage. Now, I'm going to give you the best way to do this. I want you to go into creative maps like Martos' box fight map. If you're looking for the code, go check out my TikTok video after this where I put Martos' box fight code in my most recent TikTok, and just practice taking safe angles, dealing damage while receiving 0 damage in fight. And once you get good at it in creative, start to implement this into some solo rank games. It might be hard at first, especially if you're a bit of a 50-50 trade monster who just relies on that aim like myself, but you'll quickly realise you actually don't need Siphon, and you'll start to win a lot more fights. Moving on to mistake number 6, and this is not taking breaks. Again, I'm guilty to this one, but if you find yourself constantly dying off spawn, then you need to start taking breaks, especially if you want to rank up, whether that's just a quick break away from the screen for a bit for a little bit of a mental reset, or whether you want to do what I do. I like to hop into a creative map like Martos' box fight again, headshot only map, or even just hop into some freefall, or just something that's going to just reset your mind before going back into ranked, and also give you a little bit of practice at the same time. So I think the best way to do it is if you die off spawn like 3 times in a row, just stop playing, go into creative, take a little bit of a break, and then go back into arena again, because there's no point in playing if you keep dying off spawn. It's just got to get worse and worse, and you're going to lose your rank very quickly. Mistake number 7, and this is possibly the biggest mistake people are making, and they don't really understand what you should be doing properly, and this is not looting up properly. This is something I've started doing recently and found myself winning a ton more fights, especially off spawn. I think we're all aware by now that off spawn, you gain the least amount of ranked points for getting killed. So the chances are you really shouldn't be risking these fights until you know that you can 100% win them and you've got the loot to fight. So my biggest tip is to start looting up and refuse to take any fights until you've got a shotgun you're happy to fight with, you're on 100, and you've just got some spare meds or something like that. Make sure you've got good loot, because I would rather come out off spawn living with 1 kill than fight 5 different people, get 3 kills off spawn and just die, because I promise you, you're going to gain a lot more points if you get 1 kill off spawn and then end up getting some more kills in the mid game than you are if you're going to get 10 kills off spawn and just die off spawn. So don't worry about points early on. Don't get sucked into that loop of just looking for kills, constantly chasing for them. Loot up, get everything you need, and then look for kill. And you know what? I've just thought of a little bonus tip for all of you. So as a treat, here's mistake number 8. And this one is about third parties. Now, the easiest way to win fights in Fortnite these days is by third party, and obviously we know there's no Siphon in the game, so the third party team 90% of the time are going to win the fight. The amount of fights I've won, especially in solos, this is my best possible tip for solos, is, rather than looking to start fights, just go and third party them. You'll pick up so many easy kills, it's unreal. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. If you did enjoy, please smash a like, comment down below as I do respond to all comments. Make sure to let me know what you thought of the video, as well as some other videos you'd like to see in the future. If you like this video, you may also like this video that is on screen now.